Good evening and thanks for joining us. We begin tonight with a story that will touch a nerve with anyone who has a loved one in long-term care. The long-awaited report into the convicted serial killer Elizabeth Wettlaufer, a registered nurse who killed patients in 2 Ontario nursing homes, warns it could happen again. Wettlaufer intentionally killed 8 people in her care between 2007 and 2016 without raising any suspicion. Her crimes only stopped because she confessed and turned herself in. How she got away with it, how she was able to give patients lethal doses of insulin was the result, says today's report, of systemic failures in long-term care. Everything from lack of oversight to lack of training, lack of staff, and poorly stored medication. Not only did the system allow her to murder the very people she was hired to care for, they were among the most vulnerable in our society, people whose families trusted their loved ones would be treated with dignity. The report is dedicated to the victims and their loved ones. The goal is to ensure their loss and their grief is not in vain. It calls for sweeping changes, but that will take lots of money and lots of political will. Kamil Karamali is in Woodstock, Ontario tonight, where the report was released. Kamil?
It's this 1,500-page document that looks into exactly how the 52-year-old got away with killing 8 people. The commissioners delved into thousands of pages of documents and interviewed dozens of witnesses, but many who were here to listen to the findings, unable to move on from this recent tragedy.
What happened here in Woodstock, Ontario was disgusting.
Public outbursts of outrage in a Pack Hotel conference room in Woodstock, Ontario. Friends and family of the victims of Elizabeth Wettlaufer.
What happened here is just awful.
The ex-nurse serial killer responsible for the death of 8 patients under her care over the span of 10 years.
If we're going to prevent similar tragedies in the future, we cannot continue to do the same things in the same ways in the long-term care system. We cannot.
Now a public inquiry releasing recommendations, 91 in total, some of which include increasing government funds towards nurse training and education, taking reasonable steps to limit the supply of insulin, and adopting a screening process for nurses and staff that includes background checks. The commissioner revealed Wettlaufer would have never been caught if she hadn't turned herself in.
We would not have known about them, period.
Family members of victims are trying to find some sort of closure and hope changes can be made to prevent something like this from happening again.
And my dad was murdered. And many other people's family were murdered, and if the government that comes in today doesn't do anything, more of our family members will be murdered.
The report highlights a nursing workforce strained and overworked, and a long-term care system that's also strained. Many are worried it's just a matter of time before another Elizabeth Wettlaufer finds her way into a care home.
This is something that affects everyone. Everyone will either end up in a nursing home or know someone that's in a nursing home or have to put a parent in a nursing home.
And the Ontario government has already promised to fund 2 of the 91 recommendations. One, it promises to come back within a year with more answers to how many of those recommendations it can actually fund, as well as it promises counseling to the family of the victims. Donna?
All right, Kamil Karamali in Woodstock, Ontario, thanks.